Hello and welcome back to, I don't even know what episode is this, 11?
11, I believe.
11.
don't know why you got all menacing there.
Of absolute cuts. Thank you. We are deep into the end of the Edinburgh Festival now.
Yeah, up to your nuts and guts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in Dubai currently.
You are in Dubai currently? So check the fucking AI we've got working here. Create a Cullen avatar.
Deep fake. That's devastating because like most celebrities that have been like deep faked or AI are either doing like political gain or porn.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is just me and you.
This podcast.
A podcast about fucking movies.
Well, yeah.
I want to be rammed by Homer Simpson online. Just once.
There was a thing I forgot to mention that we did, which I thought was fucking hilarious, because we went to see Glenn Wool, who, if you get a chance, please go and see it. It's genuinely one of the best comedians in the whole world.
Yeah.
And in the room it was me, you, and Sloss, and Brett Vincent, and Mary's wife, and Frankie Boyle.
Yeah.
Were in there as well. So I was like, I don't know how I'd like, because it's not a room that's in dark either.
No,
so
it's quietly Britlit.
Glenn very much knew we were all in there.
Yeah. You could see him looking at your eyes.
Yeah. It didn't faze him at all.
Nah.
But then we were hanging about in the room afterwards in the bar, and Emmanuel Sonobe came along, who you imagine if you're fans of us, you'll know as well. And you were wearing a cap, and Emmanuel was wearing a cap, so you swapped caps, and I took a photo of the two of you. And so his cap, I mean, his head must be like 3 times the size of yours.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was ridiculous. So it slipped down over Cullen's ears and part of his eyes, and I got a photo of him next to you, and you were like that. And then I put it up the next day saying, my son Ryan only has weeks to live. But yesterday he got to meet his favourite comedian. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Sonobe and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Right?
Yeah.
And most people took it as read. I got one message from a comedian saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't know anything about your son. And I was like, it's fine, it's just Ryan Cullen. It's supposed to be a joke. One person reposted and went, this is an absolute tragedy. Please take care, all of you. And then Elliot came on and replied and said, I'll be honest, looking at the state of them, I'd just finish him off now and put him out of his misery. To which one person came back on and went, what kind of horrible creature are you? What terrible, and you said that out loud. Oh my, and then you're just like, fucking hell.
People
man.
taking things far too. That was excellent.
God.
Fair play, Elliot. Yeah, it worked this time.
Oh fuck. It happened to me. I can't remember if I've spoken about this before, but before we went on holiday, I'd put a photo of myself in like the kind of gear I would be wearing to go on holiday, but on the plane. So it was like kind of casual holiday gear. And I'd put up a generic thing saying, well up for my holidays. And then Mick Ferry had put a picture and put a status above it which said, can't believe the gall of this man. Me and my family have been paying into a Christmas hamper he has been organising. He ran off with all our life savings and now he's boasting about going on holiday, right? And fuck me. About 3 days into my holiday, Mick sent me a message going, have you seen the replies to that? I was like, no. And it was people generally going, this horrible prick. I hope this man gets his comeuppance. People reporting me and all sorts of shit. Like, it was fucking incredible. Like,
oh, I love it. There's nothing funnier than like that's the better now. Like trolling used to be funny, and then everybody started doing it, and then it became kind of like a bad thing. But now that's the best one when you can force other people to jump down in the comments under something.
Oh my god!
If you get them to follow, it's not even trolling. It's better. It's way funnier.
It's just making someone look so stupid because they believe everything that they see.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, all it would take was to look at that. And they already know Mick. They already know Mick's a comedian. So if they then went, oh, wait a minute, that guy's also a comedian. There's a good chance this is just a wind-up.
Yeah.
Like,
but to get to the level that you're writing stuff like, how dare you?
I know.
That's fucking
great.
It
was very, 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 very funny.
I think the worst ever, like I've gotten to loads of them online. I think we've even talked about some before, but the funniest one I thought was Daniel O'Donnell group. I was in. I was a member of a Daniel O'Donnell fan page group. There's like 1,000 people in it, right? And everyone in there is obviously 60s.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of Myras. I'm pretty sure the admin's called Myra. That's it. A couple of Madges.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
right? And all of the pictures are like, you know, somehow, even though these people couldn't use the internet, they somehow managed to get images of like fucking, you know, Daniel Dolittle superimposed onto like Jesus Christ's figure and shit. Like, you know, Lord and Savior or Messiah's back. And he went and started like, I started writing in the, he was on Strictly Come Dancing.
The Irish one?
Yeah, it might have been the Irish one, whatever, right? So Daniel O'Donnell was on it, or Dancing on Ice, or whatever the fuck it's called. And basically I wrote in the thing like, hey, big time Daniel fan, you know, obviously if I'm in here. But I just like to like to tell everyone that Daniel is dancing great, but it's because he's on performance enhancing drugs, right? And that's all I wrote, right? And people started like, you get like loads of people like, how dare you disgrace Daniels? And I go, I'm a massive Daniel fan. I'm just saying that he's fucking on.
He's
like,
jacking up.
He's jacking up to do this. There's no way them hips go like that. There's no way he's crushing it that well. He's clearly on performance enhancing drugs. And then there's all these people tagging the admin, who was Myra, going like, get this evil man out of this group. And she was like, I don't know how. She started like it out, so she couldn't get me out of the group, right? And I was sitting there going like, there's no need to get angry, people. I'm not here to ruin your day. I just saying that man is jagging. And they were like, he's not fucking jagging. And then I go, look, I'm a fan. And then I write in capital letters, look, he's a fucking junkie and the whole world knows it. By capital letters. Next thing you know, I was getting DMs and everything from other people in Donegal, old men being like, if I ever find you in the streets, sir.
Oh,
imagine being on fucking like performance enhancing drugs for Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh my god!
Gotta loosen up the cankles.
Do you remember the Piers Morgan thing you got?
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
Aye, God, yeah, that was.
Ryan asked. You tell him the question that you asked.
Yeah, I asked what was worse, Piers Morgan or the Holocaust. In a Twitter poll, and I went. The funniest thing was I did go to a shower. I know I have a bit about it. You still have in the comedy, but I went to the shower and I did come out of the shower and rub the laptop screen. It was like 390 interactions, and I went, it's only like a 6 minute. And I went, oh no. And then it was like, oh, you think this is funny? He had tweeted it, and he was losing big time.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. Then he retweeted it, and he lost it big time. It was getting a lot of flack, and then I started getting like people going like. People were like wanting an answer, and all I kept saying was like, don't look at me, I voted for the Holocaust. And they couldn't get angry about it. They couldn't get angry about it. They're like, whatever. And then I got 2 rabbis DMing me. A rabbi in America started DMing me going like, you know, give me links and all to the Holocaust, like you can't be joking about this. And I was like apologetic, like I know, you know, misfired this one or whatever. And then another one jumped in and said, don't tell anyone, but I think this is fucking one of the funniest things I've ever read. A rabbi messaged me. I was like, unbelievable.
That is absolutely brilliant.
There was a newspaper article written about me and back home.
Oh, Jesus.
And they had me up like a mugshot. You know you're not in the good one when they give your address under your mugshot. Ryan Cullen from Drumdean Ballinlifford.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, like shit like that.
Oh my God.
That's so good.
That's absolutely brilliant. A funnier sentence. 2 rabbis from America DMing me.
You want to dance, bro? Great days.
So obviously, because we've recording this early, because Ryan is going to Dubai. What are you? Because you've never been out. Have you ever been to Dubai as a place?
Yes.
You have been to Dubai as a place, but you've just never gigged there.
Yeah.
Right, cool. And what do you think of Dubai?
I mean, it's fun, but it's odd being in a place where it seemingly has no history. It's like a big class shopping centre. So you walk around going, what a class shopping centre.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah. It's. Do you know what? I didn't know what to expect, and if you just accept it for what it is, you can have a
class.
Great,
I've
always had an amazing time there. You know, the weirdest thing I ever found was one day I wanted to just go for a walk, and I couldn't find anywhere to walk that wasn't either a shopping centre or like I couldn't find a park.
Oh, it's because it's all big, kind of outside. Anywhere. It's like bigger roadways and stuff like that.
I just couldn't find a park.
we dander down the dual carriageway.
Yeah, but then you would find so I'd look in maps and I'd see like a bit of greenery, and I'd go, I'll go there. But then you realise that was just a bit under an underpass that had grass on it. So I was like, there is literally nowhere to just go and sit in a park here, or just go for a walk to. But the gigs, you'll have a great time at the gigs. The gigs are
good,
fucking class.
Good. We'll see. I'll have some fucking stories, knowing me. There's always some sort of disaster.
I can't wait for you to come back.
There's a lot of people message me going like, just you did too, about buy the drinks.
Yeah.
In the airport.
Yeah.
I got one, another one. Someone just went.
Yeah.
So I was like, just do that.
Yeah. It was another comic that I was travelling with that told me the first time I went, because obviously you can't. There are no off licenses or anything like that, but you can buy them and just load them into your suitcase. Because I think if you want to buy drinks, they're in these massive warehouses, but you need a specific locals license.
Fuck's
and there's
sake.
so many you can get. But yeah, I'm talking like fucking an hour's drive outside of the city. So
Yeah.
and it's not that you can't drink. You can drink in the airport.
Yeah.
Not the airport. The hotel bars. At every hotel bar, but fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Really, really, really expensive.
Well, how much is a pint around?
So last time I was there, I reckon it would be about $8.50 for a pint.
Oh, all right, okay.
So-
all right. You're down 3 and you're 30 quid in the,
I
basically.
remember one morning, because we were getting drinks at the gigs as well, because you get treated amazingly by Gail and Duncan that take you over, and the hotels are all class, and the food is fucking. You'll come back. Well, maybe not you, but you might come back. Like
I neither shed
£4
nor
Hy-Vee.
I neither shed nor gain. Just for some reason, it just burned at this exact temp.
But it was one morning I woke up hungover, so I went down to the bar in the hotel we were staying in. I said to the guy, I was like, you wouldn't be able to make me a Bloody Mary, would you? And he was like, yeah, of course. And he was asking me, how spicy do you want it? And do you want the celery in it and all that kind of stuff? And I never thought about it. And then he handed me over the bill, and it was 35 quid. And I was like, oh Jesus, this is,
My God.
this hangover just gets so much worse.
Oh God, that's grim. I can't even imagine how I do that. I'm like, can you take it back? Can you undo it? Sucking the tomato out.
I'll take the tomato. Can you can you siphon the vodka out of this? Because
Oh.
Right, this week's film was my suggestion, and it's a film you've never seen.
No.
I hadn't seen it in years.
Okay.
It's Kelly's Heroes,
Yeah.
which is a war movie but made in the 70s, and it's a kind of World War II comedy, but also as a heist
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
It's got Clint Eastwood in it, and but I saw this, right. The reason I remembered this, and as soon as I saw it in the charity shop, I was like, I need to get it. When I was younger, I used to stay with both sets of grandparents, and it's kind of where my love of films came from, because they both my grandfathers were both massively film fans, but of completely different genres. Right, one was massively into comedies and stuff, and the other one was massively.
porn.
So that's where my love of child pornography has come from. So when you get to that early, no, my other granddad was massively into war films. So I watched like shitloads of war films when I was staying with him. So I'd see like Great Escape, The Dirty Dozen, Bridge on the River Kwai, and Kelly's
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah.
Was one of them, and it always stuck with me. So did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I would say I'd say that I found it funny that it was a comedy when I didn't know it was a comedy until after the film.
Right.
I didn't find it funny. I loved it.
It's not particularly. No, there's not any.
I get
particular-
it. It's not. It is humorous kind of bits in it, but I just find it funny that they pitched it a comedy.
I see it. Maybe I'm being unfair. I don't think they actually do pitch it as a comedy.
They do.
Oh, do they?
Checked it because I checked it afterwards. They did. They said it's a war comedy movie.
Because Eastwood isn't funny. I mean, he
Nah.
never breaks
No.
a smirk once. He's
Yeah.
like proper hard ass all the way through. But I suppose the rest, even Telly Savalas,
Yeah.
has a
Do you
bit
know,
of humour about
so
him.
I know the name Telly Savalas, but you know it's really funny. When the credits came up, I wasn't looking for him, right? So, but the font head looked like a J, looked like his name is
Jelly.
Clint Eastwood, and then he goes Clint Eastwood and Jelly Savalas, and I was fucking breaking my shit. I was like, and then I was like, oh, it's Telly. I know that name in my head, but yeah, Jelly Savalas would have been so much funnier.
Yeah, Telly Savalas. Yeah, it's a weird name actually.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from. Or where any of them.
I think he's just American, Telly Savalas.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He often shortens his name. TV.
For fuck's sake.
TV Savalas. Oh, God.
Jelly Savalas.
Because he's in Dirty Dozen as well. I think he's probably most known as Kojak.
Oh, yes.
Which
I didn't
know if
actually.
you've ever seen.
No, but I actually, that makes sense. That's probably where I know who he is.
He's like a. What I like about him is he's fat, but he doesn't look fat.
No.
Like, you can tell he's not in shape, but he still looks hard as fuck.
He's a brick shithouse.
Yes, he's the actual definition of a brick shithouse.
That's who
Telly Savalas.
That's who the Commodores were singing about.
He's a brick shithouse. He's mighty.
He's letting that jelly all hang out. Jelly Savalas.
So the storyline is it's World War II, and there's an American platoon that Telly Savalas is the captain. He's not a general. I think he's just a corp. I don't know.
I don't get the.
No, near that. It's weird. I don't get it either.
No,
I think general top, but then I don't know where captain, colonel, private's the lowest.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because Clint Eastwood's a private in it, but he was a lieutenant.
Oh,
But
yes,
he got demoted because he led a mission that ended up killing a load of Allied soldiers, and he took the rap for it. So Clint Eastwood at the start kidnaps a German commander.
Yes.
And while he's interrogating him, he searches through his stuff and he finds what the guy says is 2 bars of lead. Because the storyline he gives him is, he's got secret papers, and the lead was in there because he was going to chuck them in a river for somebody to come and pick up, and the lead was to make them sink. But then in the skirmish of the kidnapping, they've got scratched away, so they're clearly bars of gold.
Yeah.
And then Clint Eastwood interrogates him in a way where he gets him pissed, and I've never seen anybody get so pissed so quickly to give away vital information. Within 10 minutes, he goes from, I'm not telling you a fucking thing, to confessing to the Kennedy assassination. He
passes out.
He's so gutted after 10 minutes. It's amazing. Like, I know they don't have time to piss about, but they could have done like a cut from morning to the next day where they're still sitting there drinking.
Yeah.
But it is literally 10 minutes of film time, and he's absolutely wankered. So it turns out that the Germans, the Nazis, have a stash of 14,000 bars of gold holed up in a bank in a small town in France. And Kelly, who is Clint Eastwood, decides that they're so fucked off with war anyway that they just go, right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and steal this gold. So the first half of the film is basically him collecting a platoon of misfits together, and then the second half is them breaking through German enemy lines, getting to the town, and then stealing the gold. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it always amazes me that with war, it's particularly these kind of war films, is you can generally get a sense that nobody has a fucking clue what is going on.
Yeah, I did that. I enjoyed that about this.
Do you know what I mean?
Because I probably wouldn't either. You know, half the time it's like we're unaccounted for like hours or days. They're like, there's just the platoons out that way.
Yeah. But I mean, half the time they're just sitting about in various villages in France.
Yeah.
Pissing about, playing cards, doing all sort of stuff. And then you realise that there's loads of... and there's another thing, that they can't communicate with each other. So, the communications keep breaking down. Nobody really knows who's supposed to be where. Nobody knows who's supposed to be doing what.
Yeah.
So it is just, you get that kind of sense of what, that must be what, a particular world war was like.
Yeah. It must be.
Folk were just sent over and gone, Just
Wing it until someone tells you otherwise.
basically, aye.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
a couple
like
of rogue generals.
yeah, but then you realise like there's different because their captain is basically nothing to do. He doesn't even know where they are half the time.
Yeah.
And he's come across a yacht that he's now going to transport back to Paris. And that's his only concern. Like, he doesn't give a shit about the war. He doesn't give a shit about where his men are. He's just trying to transport this yacht.
Yeah.
And then when they go to the generals at the end, they're just holed up in a chateau.
Yeah.
Just all drinking
exactly.
wine the whole time. But then even like the actual grunt soldiers, like for the first half an hour, Telly Savalas's only care or concern is him and his men getting their hole.
Yeah, that's your horny guy.
But he mentions it about 10 times. Where are the broads? Where are the broads?
I believe he even said, "Where's the action?
Yeah, it's like
Give me the action. Where the skirt? Yeah,
literally their only concern
you
is
can't leave us here. There's no vagina." That's basically he said, like in the
like
house.
there's no drink and there's no women, and that's all we're here for.
It's so grim too. We should be in a town in Switzerland, going clean through the locals.
Yeah, he does say that.
That's essentially was his point. How am I supposed to fucking kill people? How can you kill people with blue balls? That was a thing.
My favourite bit is
Wait a minute, before you sing, I feel like the opening song,
oh yeah, oh we'll talk, oh right,
because just
It's-
like it lands like fucking Kylie Minogue at the start of Schindler's List.
it comes out of nowhere,
I was like, what?
absolutely nowhere.
I don't even know who that is. What's the song?
So it's a song called Burning Bridges, right? And the only reason I know this is because, again, about 10 years ago, I remembered this film and I went, oh, that fucking song. And then I tried to find it and put it on Spotify. I think it's by like an American, like, it's like an American folk group or something. But it's a pop song. But it is,
So
like,
bizarre.
because the film starts with like all the kind of, and it's the like you're saying about how it's Jelly Savalas, the typeface it's almost like that kind of Third Reich typeface.
It is,
as well.
actually. Yeah.
So that comes up, Kelly's Heroes, filmed in Panavision, Clint Eastwood, and all this kind of shit, and it's pissing down, dark. There's Nazi stormtroopers wandering about the place. He's sitting there, with this German commander in the front, another guy with a rifle in his throat, and then someone notices him, so starts going, "I can flashing snell," and then he takes off in the jeep. And then it just starts, "I'm down tired to tell me now, I got to get away." And it's like, it's the most jaunty fucking song.
I don't know, he's fucking driving through the town.
He's actually
running through fucking.
He's driving through people. Burning bridges and the fucking mamas and the papas on in the background.
That'd be fucking excellent. Plowing through them. Yeah, I found that was very funny. I was like, where did that? I mean, in my head, I was like, I haven't watched enough films from the 70s to see if this was a regular occurrence.
The music's all weird in it. Because you've got that song, and that appears about 4 different times.
That's what they meant by it's a comedy.
Yeah. But then it's Lalo Schifrin who does the...
Oh,
he
I know
does,
that name.
He does all the cool, like,
I
he
know
does...
that name. Yeah.
Dirty Harry, and he does
okay, right.
Bullet and all that kind of stuff. Is that
Okay.
the same guy? I think so. One of the... Like,
Labby Sifri.
No, Labby Sifri. Tell you the thing about have you ever heard Labby Sifri's
It Must Be Love
song? I think it's called I Got the... right, listen to that, right? Everybody listen to Labby Sifri's song after this. And it's got the sample of My Name Is by Eminem. You know that?
Oh, interesting.
And it just appears out of nowhere, and you're like, ah, fucking hell.
I got it.
What? Like,
I love it when that happens.
oh.
There it is.
But aye, so that's weird. And then because you've got Lalo Schifrin, he uses all the proper 70s like funk jazz drums, like so that's when they're storming the bank, that's all happening. And then suddenly he turns into, the 3 of them approach a German tank, and he starts playing like fucking western kind of Sergio Leone type music as well. It's a mental film. None of it makes sense, but it all just kind of
comes together.
None of the characters work either.
No.
Together, they're all class.
Mulligan.
Yeah, just intense. But
That comes bombing his own people the whole way through the
the
film.
thickest guy in the whole thing, but he's in charge of ordering the mortar strikes.
Oh, the whole it was like one of the first scenes. They're like, "You're killing us. Can you please stop, Mulligan?" And then eventually, just like he meets him, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to punch my head in."
There's a bit where when you realise like loads of folk had different shit going on, because it makes you realise like most of the people in the war realised how pointless it was, so we're just trying to benefit in any way from it. So they're obviously doing it because that fucking captain's got a yacht, they've got the gold, and then there's Don Rickles, who I love as a comedian.
Yeah.
Don Rickles, he's in it, and he's basically a guy that he basically runs the black market for the American troops. His office, he's sitting there and he's got about 90 bottles of whiskey, cases of champagne. He phones a guy up at one point and goes, yeah, I've got that. I've got your silk nylons for you.
Running the black market in the fucking war. And he took all of that conversation, with the thing, and didn't go, "Oh, by the way, Donald Sutherland's asleep above me."
Yeah,
with a woman.
Donald's shagging above me.
And then they were like making sure this goes to no one. There's just a woman sitting there listening to the whole thing, and I'm like, nobody even fucking registered.
Yeah.
It was so long ago. I feel like they were just like, she's obviously not going to talk. She's not going to lip up about this anyway.
We're really going to need to address our gender balance in the films we pick, because there is not one female speaking line in this entire film.
Oh my god!
Not one.
Oh my lord!
Because I remembered something about this, and I made it a point of when I watched it last night. I was like, I'll see if I can see at least even just a local, even a French local.
She did literally
saying
stay in the
bonjour
background
or something like that. Not one woman speaks in this entire fucking film.
Wow.
So we're gonna have to do, because after last week with the two shallow female characters and Assault at Precinct 13, we need to do an all out.
We're gonna have to do Ocean's 8 next.
Yeah, Steel Magnolias.
My Sister's Keeper is up next. Can't really do that too. That's the one about a woman dying. So. Do you know? By the way, you know the person you were on about there, that German guy as well. What a death!
Yeah,
he got hammered, ran up to his own tank, wasn't it? And then got machine gunned by his own tank.
There's a lot of.
What a way to go!
This is what adds to this confusion of, like, I'm amazed, right?
There's so much friendly fire in it.
Particularly when I watch either war films or action films sometimes, when there's a lot of historic battles as well, something like Braveheart or something like that. I'm amazed how they tell who's who when you're. Do you know when I really noticed it recently? I was watching the Football Factory.
Okay.
The hooligan film.
Yeah.
And in that, because at least in this, right, at night time you can't tell the difference because the Americans are all in dark green. The Germans are all in grey. So at night time, there's not a fucking chance you know who's who.
Yeah, not a chance, yeah.
Right? But at least in the daytime you'd go, right, that's slightly different uniforms.
So you reckon if somebody in future would be like, listen, Jeremy, if you're going to try this again, you're wearing bibs.
But it makes sense. But it makes...
You're wearing orange bibs.
Yeah. Or just, like, shirts and skins. Like, it doesn't make, because it makes sense.
You can take your shirts off.
But when I was watching Football Factory, I was like, you're all dressed the same, right?
Yeah.
You've all got Burberry or like fucking Stone Island stuff on.
Yeah.
Right? How? Because there must be some of yous.
Get the badge in.
Yeah, aye,
like the
but
Nazis just get the badge in. Have you got it?
But there must be some of them that are new to it and will go, I don't know who any of these people are. So what am I glassing one of my own men? Am I... It's to me,
it's going to be... I totally agree, especially with the friendly fire numbers. Like, I remember when I watched Band of Brothers, I was going through me and Daniel were going through, like, the death tolls and the friendly fire. And the friendly fire is always well into the thousands.
It happens in this film. So... the Mulligan guy mortars his own people.
Yeah.
Then the Germans mow down their own commander.
Yeah.
Later on, a fucking American fighter plane shoots at Kelly's platoon.
Yeah, blows up their only
blows
truck.
them up, blows up all their trucks. And you're like, at what point do you cunts think
This is why
we need to sort this out?
This is why back in the day when they just faced up on a big line was the good way to go.
But I don't think that would work. Because if you think of... Well, I suppose, like, in Braveheart, that's a bad example, because in Braveheart, all the Scottish
Now, once the lines are
warriors,
broken, it's...
all the Scottish and Irish folk they're all in, like, kilts or in very poor dressing, whereas all the other ones are in suits of armour and stuff like that. So at least then they'd have a clue. But some of those battles where they just run at each other, like... How, honest to God.
You would end up, you would stab. You'd be just swinging as well.
Yeah.
If someone jumped into a trench if you were in World War, someone jumped over, even if it was your guy coming back over the top,
I shoot them.
He's done.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even. I wouldn't even be sorry about it. I'd be like, well, you knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. What are you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking, you mad cunt?
At least shout.
Yeah,
it's me down below.
And even if you did, too much going on. I can't hear you. I'd shoot them anyway. But like, look, at least I got one confirmed kill.
Do you know much of Don Rickles? Because you're like a massive like master of roasts.
I know
is
him
like the
from
king.
Yeah. I haven't watched a lot of him, but I know.
Oh, man.
I will, because I know he is the big one.
Yeah,
all the Friars clubs and shit. Yeah,
there's some clips on YouTube where you look around. I don't know if he's ever hosted the Oscars, but you look around some of the Friar Clubs ones, and there's like memorial dinners and stuff like that. And you look around, and like fucking Sinatra's sitting there, and Dean Martin's sitting there, Eastwood's sitting there, Robert De Niro's sitting there, and he's ripping the shite out of them all. And apparently, he was like one of the only people. He was one of the only people that Sinatra would ever take the piss at him. He was like, he would give him that because he was so funny and so good at it. Anyone else, there's a good chance you're dying that night. But
back in the back,
Rickles, absolutely fine.
Men in suits string you to the fucking alleyway. Oh, nice one.
But they
I'll
used
fly you
to
to the
do
moon, you cunt. What?
They used to do that. Like that was proper. When that kind of comic was going on with singers, that was basically what it was. He would basically just go on and rip the shit out of the audience. It was like proper modern comparing.
Great.
Which,
I must watch his videos. When I saw Don Rickles, I was like, oh, great. I did say the name, just after Jelly. I was like, I know Don.
He's a class character in a Crap Game. Is his name Crap Game?
Unbelievable.
Hey, Crap Game.
do you know in war as well, you're on about like wearing things wrong? I don't think medics should wear big targets. That's always what I used to watch.
It's basically a cross.
It's a cross. Like if I was shooting, I'd be like, I'm like, whatever you do, there's kind of like an unwritten rule, like not really go. It obviously happens all the time, but kind of that's a medic. But you're also just like, but he's wearing a big fucking X.
Exactly, aye.
All I'd be wanting to do is put one right through it.
Yeah. I'm either shooting there or I'm landing a helicopter on him. Like, surely that's what it's for.
That's all I'm saying. Medics have to get a different fucking, it should be a big circle. That's also a target.
Yeah. Did either of your grandfathers fight in the war? 'Cause I know
yes, they did. They were both in the IRA. No,
Ireland's got a difficult past with the World War II.
Yeah,
by being cowards.
We had our own little Nazis, right, called the English. So we were dealing with our own shit. All right, we weren't even allowed to. They're all like, "Where was the Irish Army?" It's like we didn't allowed to have one.
So what did you do during the war? Did you just cut about?
No. It's even worse.
Did you not let the Nazis refuel planes in Ireland?
So we had to go neutral, like Switzerland or whatever, right? But apparently in the day to go neutral, you actually had to send a letter to both sides, going like, "Hey, you can do what you want." So that technically means, as much as that's fine going the other side, it also means we had to send a letter to like Hitler and be like, "I go on for it, mate.
Aye.
This is your fight. We're out."
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Day that must have been for Hitler. getting a letter from Ireland.
He's like, he probably, he's like, I don't even
Was
care.
is this?
Who are these vermin? Yeah, they were just like, yeah, fuck it, like, what are the Irish army going to do anyway? They weren't basically not allowed. I mean, then, they still do the neutrality. That's like the American planes still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. American planes still load up in Shannon Airport.
But then would that mean that? So, and like...
Yeah, we also sent the letter to the Taliban.
Yeah, but I was getting
I don't think they...
Would Saddam Hussein been allowed to
I don't
do
think
shit
so.
on Irish soil?
No, I think it was a bit different. There is in the 40s now. They're
like if...
so
if American planes, if the Gulf War, if American planes were allowed to refuel in Ireland, and then Saddam obviously went, I don't have any planes, but I do fancy a couple of nights out in Dublin. Would that have been allowed? Like, here come.
I think
Gone to Copperface Jacks.
Saddam in the corner.
Saddam in the Connell Bridge.
Fingering the nurse. People all closing in. He's neutral. We're neutral in this, remember? Saddam and fucking Copperface.
Oh, God.
Saddam Hussein in coppers. It would draw a crowd anyway. I know what Irish people are like too. Everyone would be just like, let's try and get off of him.
God, don't make you imagine.
Like, let's get off him. That's going to be a story forever. You know what, man? You know how I shagged last night? Saddam Hussein. The real one. The real one.
Some culture lassie coming to the breakfast next day. Saddam sitting there with her mum and dad having breakfast.
So
you've met.
So Mr. Saddam here is telling me he's a politician. You scored well for yourself today, didn't you?
So he's a foreign exchange student.
He's only here for 3 days, Saddam. Fuck, that's amazing. It's such an Irish. Somebody's going to go hammering for you, Saddam. What a graphically. What a fucking. It's such a.
One of those pictures as well. You know, in nightclubs when they put up pictures of like revelers from different bits.
Oh my God.
Some mad guys. It's Saddam in the middle of them. With one of those test tubes.
Yeah. He turns up in those chaotic nightclub photos. Twitter pages, It's always like him burning the ear off some young'un. I will liberate you and all your people.
The thing is, they gave me the weapons in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, Saddam Hussein on the fucking rip. Oh, fuck me. Oh,
Christ.
That's great. Do you have the thing in the World Cup where they always have the cyanide capsule in their tooth, in case they get carried?
Like spies.
I thought that's what the German boy might have got going. Yeah.
Oh, aye.
It'd be a nightmare if you did that and then went to the dentist like the day before war.
Yeah.
You forgot to tell him.
What's this?
He's doing a fucking filling. Pops the sign. Oh my God, suck that out. You didn't tell me about that, did you?
I think Donald Sutherland of this is absolute class.
Yeah, I loved him. Thought he was great.
He's just
that could easily have been a real shit character.
Aye, but he's just a stoner.
Yeah.
There's see after when Eastwood is telling Don Rickles about the plan, and because he needs him to get him certain aerial shots, and he needs him to get a barrage set, all this kind of shit. And he needs loads of fuel, and then Sutherland just appears like with this French woman and just goes, "Yeah, you'll probably need some tanks." And he went, "Who the fuck are you, first of all? And also, how come you have tanks?" He's like, "I've got 3 parked outside." And he was like, "Come and see them." And he goes out, and he's basically got like this fucking hippie commune going on where there's his entire battalion are all staggering about piss. There's one guy who's a designated waiter, just going and filling up tin cups with red wine.
He was fucked.
They're all stoned to fuck.
He was doing that.
It's like there's women in various stages of undress, just dancing about like the fucking Wicker Man.
In between three fucking tanks. You meet some guy as well in one of the tanks, another freak. You know, he's going to rig this to make it go faster, essentially.
Yeah, they souped up their tank because they're like, look, these are really shit tanks, but what we have is we put this big pipe on the end, so the Germans think we've got a bigger gun than they don't.
That's right. It's only a whatever. Yeah.
And we've made our own bombs that shoot paint because it's really cool.
And we play music real loud, just like fucking I always find a lot of what's funny. I will say about this film is it's 1970, and all the war films like that are filmed the same. You know, the guns are a thing, they're doing the thing, but it just shows you how fucking ridiculous Apocalypse Now was. At the same time, the difference in like the filming and the way that they did it.
Apocalypse Now is like later than this as well, so you'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
Like Apocalypse Now was later.
I know.
About 79 or something.
Exactly. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like, Donald Sutherland though. He Sergeant Oddball,
yeah.
And he just went with that the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, he is just stoned.
Yeah.
The whole time.
He also does end up breaking the money, but like he does, like he gets an extra army involved.
Yeah.
Like he just destroyed the shares by like fucking.
Who they then shaft.
Because
that entire army's job is to build a new bridge, which I never thought was part. Because it basically goes on, it's like the bridge isn't there. So what do you want me to do about it? Build a new one.
Yeah.
Wait, can you do that in a day? Can you build a bridge? Is that?
They must be able to do one. yeah. Fuck me.
Because they end up because when they go into the town at the end. Cause he's got these Sherman tanks.
Yeah.
But then there's three Tiger tanks which are vastly superior that the Germans have.
Yeah.
And there's one left standing at the end because they've done like various maneuvers. I think it's actually like we were talking about how shite the SWAT team was in Assault from Precinct 13. I think the mission when they get into the French town is actually quite good.
Yeah, it is.
Like the tactics they use are fucking class.
Yeah.
Because they outmaneuver the Germans and are able to shoot them in the weak point of these tanks. And then there's one wee guy sneaks down into the roof and plants explosives. And then they ring the bells so the Germans can't communicate with each other. And it's really good.
Excellent, yeah.
And they've got a proper sniper, like a really good sniper.
Yeah.
Up in the belt. He's taking out everybody. One shot, no bother at all.
Fucking hell. Oh, did you think that... do you know there was a part where he was singing a song like "Nobody Go Kick My Dog"?
What?
Do you know? No. There's a literal part where they just go in and like before that mission, where they're all just sitting under a tree and one guy's like, just singing for them for like.
Oh, he's playing the harmonica as well.
It's something about "Just Stop Kicking My Hound." The song was about booting his dog. Which last week's episode was
guy punching
the dog. This one is like, please don't be kicking my hound.
Sutherland starts for some reason in the last 10 minutes just start barking at everybody as well.
Aye, well,
he starts barking at people.
That's what oddball.
That's what drugs do to you. So at the end, before they're left with this one tank, and they approach so there's one German guy left in the tank, and they approach him and he comes out.
Yeah,
and they agree to split money with him as well.
Yeah.
So it ends up the German dude goes off with the German dude goes from like facing certain death, to cutting away with like $3 million worth of gold in half an hour. It's a hell of a day's work. Like.
You remember they kept counting it wrong too. They were like 1.6 and 16. $16
million worth of.
My favorite scene though in the whole film, my favorite thing was the minefield.
Oh yeah,
I love the minefield.
I love minefield scenes.
No, like in fairness to them, it was quite clearly a minefield for a bunch of soldiers. They walked into like a freshly cut up field that was exactly. They didn't really hide it that well.
If you had to draw a minefield, you'd draw that field.
Yeah. I was like, all right, cool. Well, you fucking stupid cunts. But anyway, one guy gets absolutely well done too, especially for the time. I thought that explosion was pretty good.
Aye.
Like going up through the, whatever. So he gets mangled. Great, the rest of it. The putting the knife down.
I love that. Like
when he hits the knife on one of them, he's like, "What type is it?" It's the one that fucking explodes. That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Some of the stuff between Rickles and Telly Savalas.
Yeah,
he keeps calling him Hustler.
Yeah. That's right. Why am I carrying this fucking gun?
Because there's a bit where the tank basically blows up a building and blows up Don Rickles at the same time, but then they're patching him up, and Telly Savalas goes, "Where did he get him?" And he went, "He's basically taking his leg off," and he goes, "Is that it?" And Rickles goes, "Well, is that not enough for you?"
Excellent. Yeah, I suppose there you go. It is cavity. That was pretty funny. The type that explodes.
But I love a mine scene.
Oh, I'd hate him. I'd hate to be in a minefield.
Aye.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't say there's many that love it, but I have a lot of mine jokes.
You do have quite a few mine jokes.
I have a new one as well.
Yeah.
I have a new mine joke.
What is it? Do you want to tell it? Cause,
I don't care. Yeah, about my uncle stood in a landmine and he didn't take another. He heard the click, so he didn't end up taking another step because his legs ended up in the fucking trees. So stupid, but anyway,
your half brother joke is one of my favourite jokes.
Oh fuck, it's
proper
done.
Class.
That's fucking.
Do landmines still get used?
I don't know. It just seems like a whole hassle.
There's not much.
I always get real sad for the people that step on like a Pakistani farmer and steps on one from like 32 years ago.
Yeah.
Man's out trying to get a carton of milk and gets blown to bits. I'm always
like
ugh.
you read about someone that's found like an unexploded German bomb in their back garden. Like some cunt's been trying to like put in a conservatory and suddenly
That'd be. Imagine how fucked that would be. Your dad's out there measuring the boom. Took half the fucking neighborhood with him. What did he hit? Did he hit electrical wire? There's no way if you exploded. Well, I know. They'd be blaming it. You should be reading instructions.
But I thought it was a class. Another class caper.
A caper. That's a good way. An absolute caper.
Love a caper, man.
That's it.
Nobody's got a clue what's going on.
The Sting, and then there was.
Yeah. They're also. I don't think they got away. I mean, I suppose it would be what 1943 around about this time. By the time the Americans had joined the war, and it was. So I suppose because then when they calculated at the end, everyone that was involved in the mission got $875,000 each.
Okay.
Which I suppose then would be a lot.
Yeah, it definitely would. Yeah, it'd be a couple of million basically now if you took.
But it's not.
But it's not. It's quite a mission they take.
It's not immense. Considering what they do.
Yeah.
But then. Like,
you probably would.
Eastwood makes a point. He's like, well, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, you either die doing this, having a laugh trying to get gold, or you're going to die at some point in this anyway.
Yeah.
We're shooting our own people here, for Christ's sake. Like, I'd much rather
Mulligan's still
die
fucking bombing us from the skies. Planes following us. One guy missed the whole plane attack. By the way, the American plane blew up their own people, but one guy missed it because he was taking a shit.
He was taking a shit.
How'd he go?
It was the Latin American lads, Patuco. It was like...
How'd he take a shit, man? Missed what happened.
He's a horny guy. He always goes on about the women. Because when they're going... when they... At one point where they're like asked to hole up in a French farmhouse, and Telly Savalas goes, right, I'll go in and try and get us some booze. And he's like that, and he's coming down. And he goes, I'll go and get some booze and some dirty movies. And
Fuck! I forgot about that. I think he's trying to plan a one-day stag party.
Yeah, he does some dirty movies.
Clean up this dirty rat.
He wants to decorate it.
Decorate this, and then we're going to have a beer each and have a wine. Where the fuck's he going to get dirty movies? You couldn't you fucking find...
What are they showing them on as well? You know what I mean?
You can have a go at the cover each.
But I would highly recommend if you get a chance to watch it. It is a good laugh of a film. Right, next week, your choice. Have you picked one? Or are you going to do the randomizer?
I've got it here. I'm not randomizing. Right. So this one was another. It was a real £1 one as well. Now it was the same thing. I've saved the other one for last. Okay, but this one is a film that everyone knows. I reckon you've definitely watched it, but it's also one that I haven't really watched. I've seen like one or two scenes of it, but it is £1.
The 40, yes!
The 40-year-old virgin.
Excellent.
I actually just haven't. This should be a laugh. I mean, there's enough to be laughing about there. I do not remember. This is the XXL version.
Of course it is. Of course
17 extra minutes.
Wow!
It's a fair whack.
Jesus Christ. Oh, no, that's going to be good, man.
It just goes 17 extra minutes, and then says the longer you wait, the harder it gets.
Love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
so we're going with the 40-year-old virgin.
Sweet. So if you get a chance to watch that before next week, it always makes it more fun if you've seen the film.
Yeah.
Before you go. Right, I've got a few fringe shows left. I'm fairly certain, I know we're recording this in advance, I'm fairly certain I'll have put on an extra show by then. But
Sweet.
all the details will be there. And I forgot to mention as well, last week, I've been filming a TV show during this called Edinburgh Unlocked, where I'm hosting it and I interview some people, and then but loads of other people do some class things. It's on BBC iPlayer. If you want to watch it, because I think it'll all have been broadcast, but all three have been broadcast by the time this comes out. Yeah. You won't know what you're doing after.
No, by the time I'm back, it's just straight into normal work. So you'll find all the gigs on Instagram or whatever the fuck you find it.
And we have a challenge, which we set on the second week of this, where on Podbean it gives you a rundown of all the countries and all the places that people are listening to the podcast, which was cool. I don't think I mentioned this. There was 2 lads from Israel came to my show on the front row, and neither of them had seen us live, but liked the podcast. So that was
great.
Cool. So the mission then was, and we still don't have one, is by the time you come back, so we'll give it 1 episode after you're back from Dubai, we need to have had at least one person from the United Arab Emirates
to listen to what I said.
Listen to this.
Right, okay.
So that's your mission, to get one person from the United Arab Emirates.
Right, perfect. And that means I can't click on anything because it'll come up as me.
Oh yeah, you can't. Absolutely.
So
you can't touch.
So I can't touch anything.
You can't touch it or listen to it.
Bingo.
But one, that very least one person.
Right, perfect.
More than one would be if this is the catalyst where we become like, they've bought like fucking Neymar and stuff. And that's Saudi, I know that's Saudi, but if we become huge in the Middle East to the point where other podcasts are going, the Absolute Cuts Boys have sold out, and we go, they're literally paying us £1 million an episode. Why the fuck wouldn't we do this?
Flying us out.
And there's no chance we're watching any films with female speaking spots if we become massive in the Middle East.
That's probably why they love it. Kelly's Heroes. Yes, we love that film.
So please keep leaving reviews, get in touch with us, follow us, all that kind of stuff. But apart from that, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.